primarily the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. All right. At this time, if anybody else would like to come up and say a few words. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Just want to congratulate you for finally retiring. I've been telling Dan to retire since I met him because I'm sick of his crap. And oh, sorry, wrong speech. We're all losing a great coworker and colleague. Dan is much deserving of this. His service to the ATU, his service to Metro Transit, his big shoes to fill, and I'm glad I got to meet you. Thank you for all your help with me professionally and friendship-wise. I'm going to miss you.
I guess I'll go. Hello, sir.
Hi, how you doing?
My name is David.
Up.
Yeah, write that down. 33 years. That's a long time to be doing anything. I'm not even 33 years old yet, so. First time I saw Dan, I thought he was a pretty stand-up guy until I started talking to him, and then I realized he's not a stand-up guy. Dan was it's 44-inch python. Dan was one of those cats when you first get into the garage, real soft-spoken, but knew what he was talking about, sent you in the right direction, straight shooter. Just a good dude, a real good dude. Yeah, you are. And then when we needed him, last year, and he stepped up to the plate and came into the union office, he pretty much saved us and kept us operating. And
Pretty close.
yeah,
Served purpose.
yeah, it was pretty, yeah. But I am saddened to see you go, but I'm also very happy that you are retiring. I wish you all the best. I hope to see you at all the meetings going forward, twice. As a token of our appreciation. Not that you probably don't have one already anyway, but let me give you this jacket. It shows our appreciation for your tenure with the ATU.
The media.
Let me get a picture of the two of you together. All right.
Yeah, we're brothers. Twins.
Here we go. Yeah, identical.
Which one's standing to be?
Yeah, right?
All right, Dan. Congratulations. No, it's Mike. All right. Come on over here. Center a little bit. So I just want to talk a little bit about a couple of my memories with Dan. Dan was one of the earliest people that I remember seeing when I started working at Metro Transit, because I trained out of South Garage, and Dan worked out of South Garage, and he was the union rep there. And my introduction to Dan didn't involve any talking to him. He happened to be sleeping on the couch that was in the corner at South Garage, and South Garage in those days was smaller than it is today. Actually, I didn't wake you up. Dan looked a lot different, of course, besides being a little younger. He had really long hair. And I don't know if the instructor wasn't quite sold on Dan or whatever, but we walked, I was getting the garage tour, me and another student, and the instructor said something to him, yeah, there's the union rep. He never does anything. And Dan was asleep on the couch there. So that was my introduction to Dan, very unceremonious. I come to find out that that really was not a fair assessment of Dan. I got to know Dan a little bit more. I don't often, since I'm on the management side now, I don't often talk about my ATU time, but to talk about Dan is really hard not to. I was going to ATU meetings and such, and Dan approached me one day. and he said, hey, I'm moving to Reuter Garage. He and Michelle had got married, and he was going to change his work location, and there was going to be an election at South. And he asked me, hey, I noticed you have the meetings in, and you've been coming to meetings, and have you thought about running, or would you like to think about running for the union rep position? Well, come to find out, I wasn't being asked because Dan thought I was such a great candidate per se. I was one of the people I qualified, and they disliked the other person more than me. So, but yeah, he's shaking his head. That's the truth. So, he didn't know me very much, other than I was a face at the union meetings and such. So, essentially, I followed him at South Garage. Was the union rep there for several years, and then I followed him at the union office because he was recording secretary. And then after he was done with that job, I was elected and served as recording secretary. And then later on, he came back to assist in the union office as recording secretary. And then later on, ATU more recently, Dan was back assisting with the treasurer position. And maybe you're starting to hear the same thing repeated about how Dan stepped in and helped. Okay? This is the Dan that I know. All right, he cares a lot about people, cares very deeply about people, and we can say union issues and stuff like that, but it's people issues, right? And Dan is one of these guys that is a rare sort of person. There's a lot of great people and nice people that work here, but Dan has taken those opportunities that he's had to assist people and help make them better, help make Metro Transit better. And in a way, he's sort of an unsung hero for that. At least he is in my mind. And so his 33 years here, in a way, there really should be a multiplier, because it wasn't just 33 years at Metro Transit. He spent a lot of extra time, nights, weekends, time on the phone. So I don't know how many actual real, if you want to call it 40-hour weeks, but it's going to be way, way more than that. And I really am happy that you've arrived at this point, and you get to enjoy some time of retirement with Michelle. And I really hope that you'll take that time. I know you'll find something to do, and I'm sure wherever it is you land, you're going to find yourself helping other people, because I know that's the type of person that you are. But I'm just, like I said, want to congratulate you, and thanks a lot, Dan, for how you've helped me over the years. Very well.
Okay, photo. Thank you. I want to make sure people.
So here, in honor of 33 years, is your schedule. So again, thank you for your service. Thank you. Yeah.
Hang on a second. Let's fix this. We got to make this look a little better here. Yeah. There we go.
All right, look up this way, guys. There we go. And I'm going to take a close-up of that, too. No, just at the...
See, she just wanted
Those 4 digits.
He just want another picture. I know it is all right.
I already got it. Just send them all.
Many pictures.
I'll put it in here for you there. So you have it. I'll put it in here when she's done. Does anybody else have anything to say? Any words?
All right, I got nothing to say either.
I've only known Dan a couple of years. I came over to East Metro, North Loop here. But I always liked it because he'd come up and say, "Morning, Captain. Thanks for playing." When I check in, and he'd always laugh at my jokes. I give him a joke.
Those are jokes?
Yes. So it was always good to see him there. And he'd always give me the S98 up at the 63rd Park and Ride if I was on call. Easy one.
congratulations on retirement. I started working with Dan when I started my full-time career. I was part of that 35 bridge collapse, so I went part-time 2 days, ended up back in the classroom, and then my choice to go garage is to go on commuter. I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with Dan. He was a dispatcher there until one thing that will always stand out in my mind whenever I think of Dan. I came into work on a Saturday afternoon at 4:15, and I said to him, the stupid computer won't let me scan in. My report time's supposed to be 4:22. Clock on the wall says I'm not late. The computer says I'm not late. Dan said to me, he says, what's your operator number? So I tell Dan 67187. This is Dan's response to the dispatch window. Congratulations, you're on vacation. I'm like, what? I had totally screwed up my calendar. I thought it was the week after. I had rushed to get to work on time for Dan to tell me I was on vacation, and that will always stick out in my mind whenever I think of Dan, is how he just very politely just stuck his hand out and said, congratulations. So Dan, I'm passing it back. Congratulations, you're on vacation. Thank you. Even though I know I'm going to see you around the union office and at the union meetings. Mr. Stiggers? Yes, sir. One of those pizzas should be a piece of cake just for Dan.
Absolutely.
There you go. Thank you. You will live on forever in our minds.
I don't have much to say, but I had a lot of fun working here. Most of the time. Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you gonna do now that you're retired?
I'm gonna get away from this freezing atmosphere, and then gonna come back in a couple days. And then, but other than that, I'm just gonna spend my life with my life with my wife and my 2 dogs, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. That's all. Thank you all. Just one last thing. I had fun for everybody in here. Thanks. Except for that guy right there. He wasn't paying attention.
No, I don't think so.